Well, good morning, everyone. For all of those who's online and those who were brave enough to get up early this morning to come. I don't know what the Southerners are like, but usually I thought they were pretty early risers. So we must have a lot of our members who are from the north because there's not a lot of folks here yet today. But for those of you who are here, if you just send notes to the other folks, I know that some people are going to be confused about the time zones, and so but we're up and running here in Vicksburg. First of all, I'm so glad to be here and for our host, Lisa, a Longfellow, and her husband, David, for hosting us here at this historic home for our family. If you've never been here, you're missing out on a lot to know about the family, okay? And so there's not a square inch of this building that doesn't have some great history in it. So please, I encourage you to come here if you have a chance. So if you're driving anywhere in the vicinity of Mississippi, you have to divert and come to Vicksburg. Normally we have a chaplain offer our prayers when we start, and he hasn't been feeling very well. He will be with us tomorrow for our board meeting. We'll offer prayer. So does anyone feel comfortable with offering a prayer? If not, I'll offer it. All right, then I'm being told to go ahead and offer prayer. Our Heavenly Father, we're glad to be able to meet together. We're thankful for the grace that Thou hast shown us through the Lord Jesus Christ. We're thankful for being here in this meeting and for our shared kinship of our ancestor Joseph Vick, those brave souls who came to this country years ago. We pray that this will be a nice activity and everyone will stay focused on our mission and finding our roots back to Europe and fellowship with one another during these next 3 days. Again, we ask for a blessing upon those who are traveling, that they might be able to arrive here safely. We say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen. Well, so I'm going to drop off the share screen here for just a second. I hope I do it right. If I don't, you guys forgive me. There we go. So we're off shared screen. And I'm going to go down here and see if I can't find another screen. I think it's here. Okay, good. All right, so I'm sharing with you a screen that is some free software. Okay, if you look over here on the left-hand side, if you can see my arrow, you see it says Family Search. And I like to dwell on any time there's some free software. But so later on during the conference, I'll show you some features of this software because there's always been an issue with it that I've not liked and nobody else liked. And it was that someone could mess around with your tree. Okay, people could go in and make changes. So, oh, here comes a really important person. There's Sophia. Sophia, come on up here for a second. Okay. So, Sophia, hi. We're being broadcast right now live. I don't know if they can see you, but this is the person who's going to be doing our what I asked you to do? Registration. Yeah. This is Sophia Vick. She's one of my granddaughters. She lives in Atlanta. And she and her sister recently got to be Marshal, parade marshal here in Vicksburg, so which was fun. Anyway, so if you can find those badges and find the owners of all of them, and you go around and give them to them.
Yeah, it's in the back.
Very good then. Thanks so much. Okay, good to have you here. Anyway, so welcome everyone. So did Stella come with you? No. Okay. You see where I have a back there in the back? Yeah. Thanks. Son. This is my son. This is This is my son Shad just came in. I was asking if he brought my wife, but she's not feeling good.
Who are we
enough
online with?
today. The whole world.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever's out
I
there.
can't see them, so.
Yeah,
We got screens so we can see them.
yes, but I'm not on that screen, so
Gotcha.
let's see if I can get back to it here.
Oh, we
for a
got
second.
the little things if you want them.
Oh, good. Please have them hand them out to everyone who's here. Okay. So let me go back to this screen here for a second.
I think you have to share it.
Okay, am I sharing it now?
I don't think so.
I think that's
Go back.
live. I think that's live right now. Isn't that,
Your screen share.
Roger, am I doing it okay or not? Am I sharing that screen?
No.
No, thank you. Let's see here. Is this, I'm not sure where to look.
Go back to the Zoom.
I don't know where the Zoom is. I don't know what the Zoom icon looks like. I don't see the Zoom icon.
The blue circle.
Oh, there it is. Okay,
Okay.
all right. And then I got to go back to share screen. This one,
Click on that one
okay,
and then you can share your screen right here.
share screen.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
And
great.
now click on that one
Very good. Thank you so much, Lisa.
and share. Perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just wanted to start by telling everybody that this organization didn't get started just overnight. One of the original folks who said, let's pull together this organization, Jim Piran. Jim, if you'd just stand for a second so everybody can see who you are. Jim was one of the original folks who pulled together a 1972 event. So I don't know if you guys can hear me or not, but so 1972, he's the one who had the first reunion. But I just wanted to say in a big way that we've been operating now for over 50 years as an organization, and sometimes stronger and sometimes weaker. But the big thing was we've always sort of pulled things together all the time and had events. And so for the last 15 or 20 years, we've had a conference every year. And people say it's a family reunion. And maybe that's been the direction, but not really. We really have become a genealogical society focused on our family's name. And so a lot of people say, oh, I'm going to a family reunion. Well, Larry, what are we? Eighth cousins?
Yeah.
Eighth cousins, Larry and I, one of our board members. John, what are we?
Probably about the same.
Eighth,
We're just
10th,
Rocky,
12th?
son, you're
Yes.
from Richard,
Right.
Larry's from William, and I'm from Robert, so.
The thing I want to make mention of is what brings us together. Our common ancestor, Joseph Vick. We know that he came to the colony of Virginia. We don't know what particular date. We don't know what ship or if he flew in or came from outer space, but we know he was here. We have records that he lived in the colony of Virginia. And we want to pay homage to him and give respect to him and what he has started. Today, his descendants are just about every nationality you can think of, and just about every religion denomination that you can think of. So Joseph's descendants really reflect the world nowadays. And his descendants literally are all over the world. Like I ran into some of his descendants from Australia here a while back. So he's got quite a reach. But I wanted to show you the reach that you have created, you've started. This little family search program that I have here. If I zoom in here, well, I don't know if yeah, there we go. There's my wife and I. We got started together back in 1969. Okay. And so we were just kids when we got married, but time has gone along. We'll be celebrating our 56th wedding anniversary this year. Stella is love of my life, and she has followed me here to this event, and she probably shouldn't her health wise, but she's just endured and she's come and she's here. She'll be here hopefully tonight or tomorrow when she's feeling a bit better. But she's tried to come to all the events we can. But let me just tell you what happens when I first started getting involved with this family. I said, well, I need to look at my roots, okay, right? And I was just focused on me. And then as we had children, we started focusing on my wife's side of the family, okay? And so you can see we're bringing two nationalities together, okay? And I hate to say it, but I know most people have most beautiful people in the world, children, but I think I do, okay? Okay. But anyway, as I started tracing my roots, back in the 70s, my older sister told me about there was some Vic gathering down in Mississippi. Jim, what town did you have that gathering in? Vicksburg, okay. And so my older sister came to that and gave me the information and some contacts. And with that, I started hanging out with this group. And over time, you can see we've started tracing our roots back. You can see things going back. And you can, here, I'll keep going back just a little ways. And actually, I have two Vic lines. Here's these two right here are both Vic descendants, Catherine and Shadrick Rivers. And, excuse me, I think it's up here. But anyway, yeah, there it is. Heidi Vick marries her first cousin. Heidi Vick marries her first. Well, these two cousins here, they're first cousins down here, marry one another. Nancy Reese and Arthur Dillard. Okay. So I have those two Vic lines, as most of us have probably a lot of lines. By the way, people always say, you know, you shouldn't marry your cousins, but they make some wonderful people. So, no. And see, if I keep going back, I'm pulling up these lines. And now, this is where Family Search has been in error. People can throw stuff in there that's just wrong, okay? And here's an example. This Joseph D. Vick, well, Joseph, I don't have a Joseph D. Vick in my line, but somebody has taken this software program and changed it to where it's an Arthur D. Vick because somebody else thought that that was the case. And he also connected him to Lucy Council, but I don't know if we've confirmed that at all.
Absolutely wrong.
Okay. And so these are the things why people didn't like Family Search, but now Family Search has just come up with a new layer of software that eliminates that stuff. Okay. So you don't have to, you don't have to rely on someone messing around with your family line, okay? And so that's a big change. And since the software is free, it's great. And I'll use it even more now. So here in the next few weeks, I'll change these two right here to make them, I'll bounce Lucy out and I'll make my Joseph Vick just that, okay? And they'll give him a different number here. So
I changed that bear cloth too, 'cause I don't know that she's a bear cloth at all. I think she's a white head.
where we,
Richard's wife, you go down our generation. There's a wife you're descended through is Sarah Whitehead.
I see. Well, and those are the things that we'll be able to correct and change, okay, easily without people changing it back like they have in the past. But I want to let you know, as we go down here, that you yourself are starting to create a huge family tree. And now, if we go the opposite direction, I think you guys can see here now, in this little couple that got married 56 years ago, I married a Roman Catholic and I was a Southern Baptist boy. And for whatever reason, I didn't want any children, but my wife wanted 12. Because both her grandmothers had 15 children, and she thought she could have in this generation at least 12. We didn't do 12, and we didn't do 0 like I wanted, but we ended up with 8 children. Okay, and now already in those 56 years, there are 32 grandchildren, and I haven't added one recently. We have a great granddaughter that's down here. So if you notice, the tree is going in both directions, okay, or the roots, or the however you say it. I think they people refer to the roots to up, and then the tree down below, but I'm not sure. But you can imagine what's going to happen to my tree in the next few years. We got the word the other day of one of our other grandsons who just announced his engagement. So I suspect when we meet here in Vicksburg 6 years from now, I'll have a whole big line of descendants down below this. So I want you to know that recording this information, you might think it's no big deal. It's just, you're just doing this. But there will be someday someone researching this stuff and saying, oh, thank goodness that they recorded this stuff, okay? And so I just wanted to share with you that. I'm gonna stop sharing for a second here. So now, going forth to the present, in the last 30 years, we have done a lot of research, and everyone did their little 2 or 3 generations of what they knew, and they wrote it down and they would send it in to somebody. Why am I going blank? Who was the lady who lived here in Vicksburg that wrote our newsletter for a number of years?
Mary Jo McCarry. Mary Jo McCarry.
Yeah, Mary Jo McCarry, thank you. And so she sort of became a depository for stuff. Jim, I know was. And we just sort of started collecting stuff. And then as our family grew in time and knowledge, we started getting real specialists in the family who did things in a really genealogical fashion, where before hearsay would get written down and we'd accept it. Well, then along comes a guy by the name of John Beatty. And John says, you can't do that. Okay, you have to show some substantial evidence. And so back in 2002, John and Gailen Vick published a book for the family. And in that book, we wrote down as much stuff as we knew that was somewhat documented, okay? And it was the best try we had with the technology in 2000 and around in the 1900s, the best knowledge we had then. And even when we published it in the front of the book, we stated, we might be omissions and errors, but this is the best we know, okay? And we published that book with vigor, and one of our great cousins by the name of James Davis was nice enough to finance publishing that book. And I think the family just took it for granted. They sort of like, oh, it's no big deal. Thank you. Thanks, Jim. Okay, thanks, James, for publishing that book. And no one really understood what he had done. Well, now the board of directors and hopefully the Joseph Vick Family of America knows what it's like to publish a book. It's just plain hard and frustrating and it's expensive, okay? And for him to finance that all on his own, if you ever run into why to go blank, Jim, make sure you say thank you, okay? So James Davis, he lives out in LA, in Los Angeles. I think he still has a home. But anyway, out there, since everything's been burning down, and I don't think the riots have got him. But he played a big part in solidifying and getting our organization together. But then a new level of genealogists came in, and to have a certified genealogist like John, this was a step in the right direction. But in parallel with that, we had an interesting thing that occurred. We had an ex Air Force colonel who came and started hanging out with us, and he felt so inclined to. Oh, by the way, the doorbell's ringing. You all have the right to answer it. This is our house, and so you just you can jump and answer the door. But Larry Vick was that full-bird colonel, and he started playing around with some new science that had come forth, that DNA stuff, and it started coming. Come on in, Michael. Introduce yourself. Okay.
I'm Michael Vick.
Welcome. We're glad to have you here.
Glad to be here.
But Larry came in and he started studying this DNA, this new technology. And when it came out, I don't know how good it was scientific wise. They were trying to figure it out. They were playing around with what they had. They knew they had something. And over the while, Larry Vick studied it so much that he became a specialist in DNA. And matter of fact, I know people boo-hoo this, but he became an ambassador for 23andMe. Thank you, Larry, for 23andMe. And it was, they didn't make him an ambassador because of nothing. They needed his knowledge base in order to understand what they were doing with all that technology. Okay. So I just want to let you know that technology has oozed into our organization, and now with the help of that technology, some genealogists ignore the DNA stuff because it was a new technology. We don't want to see it. John was just the opposite. He embraced it, right, John?
Yeah.
He jumped on it and said, "You're kidding me. We can find out things." And so one of the first things we noticed is that we'd find out that this line is the wrong brother. It's this brother over here that's the line. And there were all sorts of things like that. And then from time to time, we'd find out that they're not in the Vick family at all. Okay. As a matter of fact, I'm not trying to embarrass John, but when John first was working with us, he thought he was a Vick through the Vick line, and found out later through DNA that it was not the case. But then the whole family said, "We've got to find John a family tie." And how many years ago did we find that tie?
Through autosomal DNA, it was about not that long ago, maybe a decade ago.
Right. So we were relieved to have John back in the family. Okay. And so from time to time, we'll run into someone and we'll say that person should really be part of the family. They just don't know they're a Vick. And so a few years ago, where'd Lisa go? When her father was alive, when your father passed away in 2019, we were so impressed with what he had done with our Martha Vick home that he had restored, that we made him, and the board made him an official Vick. Okay. And so when Lisa took over the property after her dad passed away, and she's done a great job of making it standing on the shoulders of her father and making it even a more beautiful home. I told her, well, your father was an honorary Vick, and that makes you an honorary Vick also. So sometimes we have to just pull you in, whether you're related to us or not. So today, in 2022, we published a second book. And this book had all of the DNA knowledge from Larry Vick. It had all the knowledge that John had and others, so many other people that had contributed to this. If they were here, they'd say, hey, me, okay? But there were just so many people that added more information to where now we have a 2-volume set that covers over 1,000 pages in that 2 volumes of our Vic history, okay? But when we were doing getting ready to publish the second book, John said something to me that really surprised me. He shared with me that when they were publishing the first book, that his co-author didn't want to publish any information about those Vicks that we thought were African Americans. Okay, and God bless her soul, she was a sweet lady. I don't know why she had that impression, but it's just what she did. And since John was contributing to helping her with that book and not wanting to upset the apple cart, we published the book the way it was. Okay. But when John went to work on this new book, he said, this is going to be my book. Okay. And so John pulled all the knowledge we had about our African American cousins. Not only did we publish anything that we knew DNA wise, because we know who are Vicks, no matter what culture they're from, but we also published information in the new book if anybody had been owned in the days of slavery by some of our Vicks. We were just trying to document stuff for those African American cousins and non-cousins who just didn't have a clue because there's just not enough written. So today, our book that's been published has been characterized by 2 awards. Help me with the awards it's won.
The big one was the Donald Lyons Jacobus Award. We got last year.
And John, share with us the significance of that award.
It's the highest award that is given to a genealogy every year. And it's not even given out every year. But it's nominated by the fellows of the American Society of Genealogists. They're sort of the elite group of the best genealogists in the country. There's only 50 of them. And it's an elected group. It's a very select group. And they award this award to genealogies, not every year. And I have a good friend named Elizabeth Schoen Mills, who's a member of that group, and she likes this book when it came out, and I think she was instrumental in helping it get nominated, and the group voted on it behind closed doors, and we won it. The other one was given by the North Carolina Genealogical Society. That's another really good award. They give an award out to a book every year that comes out that has North Carolina content, and we won that one the year before in 2023. So I'm pleased we got both of those.
So those are significant awards. And so I see a hand up in the back.
Yeah, this is the bragging wife sitting in the back. And because if you're not a serious genealogist, for the non-serious genealogist of us.
I'm sorry, can you come up here and sit closer to your husband?
I'm just out from the back.
Oh, well, we just,
Award is kind of like winning the Pulitzer Prize in
I
genealogy.
see. We just wanted you on film.
No, that's
Okay,
all
all
right.
right.
Thanks, sweetheart, I'm good.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you. She called me sweetheart. I can't, that's nice. Okay,
So there you go.
all right. So, and by the way, Amy, that's John's wife, she is hosting us in 2 years from now. Where is that going to be?
Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Okay.
You can actually go do whatever other genealogical research you want.
Right, so that's exciting. So we don't get a lot of volunteers, but we got her to volunteer, which is wonderful. She didn't even have to be nudged, which is great. So big awards, and so I I'm a marketing guy and I enjoy working with John because John's just not a marketing guy, okay? And he's so humble, but he's just a powerhouse in the genealogical world, and he's got the highest awards there are. And so, can you believe that our family has got that? I mean, we were just a family. But what's unique about this family is that we really are an American family. Again, every religion, every race, all descendants of Joseph. This is what happens in America. And so now we're turning our reach to say, let's change the name of our organization. We're not going to be the Joseph Vick family of America anymore. We're going to say that we're the Joseph Vick, or the Vick. We don't know the exact name. We'll fight over that tomorrow at the board meeting, but we're going to change the name. And if my son Shad, who gets the domains for us, finds a good domain for us, we'll get that in place. Okay, so we'll make a change so that the whole world will see us. There's Shad. He's the domain guy. You can see him on the screen right now. So we're changing, we're evolving. Nothing ever stays the same, but we're changing for the better. So now, if you find the new book, to me, I'm not so much into the data like John is, or Larry. I'm into the cover, okay, the marketing. I'm in the what's in the first part of the book, the forward.
Yeah.
The forward. I'm into that. And in that, it talks about the person who wrote the forward is a guy by the name of Theodore Shaw, who's one of our African-American cousins. And it talks about why he was afraid of even hanging out with us because a bunch of white guys. And he's been ran over by a dump truck many times because of his color. And, but over the years, he made friends with people like Larry that thawed that difference and made him realize that he should be with us. Tomorrow, his name will be being submitted to being a board member of the Joseph Vick family of America. He's accepted it if the board accepts it, okay? But can you imagine this change that has occurred in our family? Do any of you know who the first sheriff of Vicksburg was after the Civil War? Anybody? Lisa?
I don't know his name, but I know he was a black man.
Yes, okay. And so isn't that interesting? We just know he's a black man. But please go look at that history, okay? I think his name was Jack, okay? And he was officially elected, okay? And then at that time, the Ku Klux Klan would have no way to let that be. And they literally came and took him out of office. But the state of Mississippi said, no, he's been elected. He's the man. And of course, it was just the Ku Klux Klan was so enthralled, just like some other bizarre religious organizations. Sometimes it just gets so crazy that they forget their mission. Okay. By the way, the Ku Klux Klan had originally been an organization that was set up to monitor if someone was doing something really horrible, like adultery. They'd run them out of town. They went from that to killing black people. A little bit off mission, wouldn't you say? Okay. And so today we have religious organizations in the world that are way off their original mission. And the only thing you can do about that is really just get rid of it. Just like, fortunately, America has finally got rid of the Ku Klux Klan. I know it rears its ugly head from time to time. In 1967, when I was in high school, I was invited to a high school rally. And I wanted to go to that rally so much. And I came home, I had my own job, I had my own car. And my dad said, what are you doing? Because my job was to prepare dinner, and I got dinner really quick. And I said, well, I'm going to a rally. He goes, a rally? What kind of rally? It's a school rally, I think. And he goes, what kind of rally? And he asked me some more questions. And he says, "You're not going." And I thought, you can't tell me what I'm doing. I'm 16 years old and I've got my own car. And he says, "You're not leaving the house tonight." Monday, when I went to school, I asked my friends who had gone to the rally what it was, and they wouldn't say a word to me. They'd only say, "I'll tell you later, I'll tell you later." Later on, I found out that that rally wasn't a school rally. It was a Ku Klux Klan rally in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. I don't think I knew what the Ku Klux Klan was at that age, but they were out doing their recruiting. So now we scroll forward to today. In this city of Vicksburg, who elected a black sheriff right after the Civil War and then wouldn't let him serve, we now have what, 10, 20 years of black African-American mayors here. And matter of fact, Mayor Flagg was just didn't get reelected, but the person who was elected was, what's his name? That's okay. Willis Thompson, another African-American, okay? So not only has our organization changed, like the United States has changed, but the whole world is starting to change and not being so racial, especially to color, okay, people's skin. Share one more thing with you on this subject. As we get rid of some of those things we hold in our mind, we can actually receive blessings, in my opinion, from heaven to learn where to look for information, okay? If you work really hard, it'll make a big difference. So when I married my wife, Stella Hernandez, Vick Hernandez, I just thought I was marrying an American girl. I thought if you were born in America, you was American. And over the years, she told me the racial things that she had gone through because her skin color was a little different than others. And so I was just amazed. And so I've been a big opponent of saying, come on, knock it off, you guys. We can do better than this. Our organization has done that. Yeah, there might be some people who were raised in a racist home and still have some funny feelings, or maybe somebody who was black did them wrong one time, or somebody who was white did them wrong at one time. But we've gone past that now. We're really an organization that can work hand in hand. And my vision on what's going to happen. We've had one family in South Carolina who was descendants of the Vicks, African American, but they were left behind during the war, in the Civil War. And they are the ones that took those sacred records that was on the mantles of the fireplace. And they kept them.
Frozen
They didn't
there.
want them to be destroyed, okay? And so
There's too
turn
much.
your microphone off, Jerry. Oh, you can turn your mic
Having
off.
their meetings at the Martha Vick House this time. So guessing there wasn't a lot of people coming.
Jerry, would you turn your microphone off? Okay, there we go.
Internet connection is unstable.
Anyway, so
Jordan
is that it? Okay.
talking.
So anyway,
Bandwidth is low. What do you reckon that would be?
and can you turn off your
Only
mic?
thing I can figure is
Can't see it. All right, can you mute
Hello,
her?
Marion.
Okay. Can I
you know,
mute?
because mine is doing those updates.
Oh,
There we go. I can mute you.
Debbie.
I think I muted you. Okay, I think I muted. Good. All right. So let's see, where was I? In my 75-year-old brain, I lose my track from time to time. But today, when these people who are descendants of slaves that were owned by our Vick ancestors, they are finding these records that were on those mantles. And like I say, the one family in South Carolina they've found some information. There's more information that our family will find, which will be great information. And what were in those family Bibles, folks? What were in those family Bibles on the mantle?
Births and deaths.
Births and deaths. I know the scriptures were there, the Old and New Testament, but the births and deaths, all that genealogical information, we're going to glean over the time as we continue to work with our African American cousins. So it'll make a big difference for the future. So at this conference that we're in, more than a family reunion, but a conference, we're going to make plans for going to Europe next year, Gloucestershire, England. We're already starting making plans. I've asked Larry Vick to help us with one organization that maybe can host us there, and hopefully he'll give us a report on that. But we're going to find our roots and what we are in Europe, okay? We believe we came from Europe. We don't think we came from outer space. But our DNA is really different than all the Vicks that we've tested in Europe. We don't look like them at all. So we really might be aliens, but we will find our roots along the way. And so we're going to give it another hard year of work. And it might just be that we'll, with the assistance of Larry doing some good DNA testing, we might find our connection to our ancestors over in Europe. And is it hard? Yes, but with the genealogists that we have and the DNA specialists that we have, I think it's not insurmountable. We can do it. Okay. So now we have software tools that makes it easy for us to record our descendants and our ancestors. It's so easy now. We now have an organization called Roots Tech. I hope you're all being involved with that. Last year, I found 44,000 cousins that was online at Roots Tech the same time I was, and I was trying to get to them. I can't get to 44,000. I was trying to tell them about our organization because they only give me the right to communicate with that group for about a week, okay? But I'm hoping they'll extend that to let us use that. I like to, some people like to work with the dead folks. John's into that in a big way. He likes to find the roots, but I like to work with the living to find out the roots. And so I think that's a whole lot more fun. Any of you here part of Roots Tech already? Any of you, Larry, you participated in it? Okay, so it's now, I think they have over 100,000 people attending that online each year. So it's going to make a big difference for us to find our roots around the globe. So now, that's about all I wanted to say, but other than saying thank you, we're glad you're here. I was going to tell my wife, I'm glad that you're here, but I know she's here. I don't know if she knows that she could actually zoom in from her room. She probably doesn't know she can do that, but maybe one of my children will let her know that so she can zoom in. My wife's health hasn't been particularly good, but we pray and we hope that she'll be restored in her health over the years to come. We're thankful for everybody who participates. Our board, without our board, we couldn't get things done. And we have 2 board members right now that's seriously ill. Jerry, who's online right now, and then old Richard Wright, who is very seriously ill. So we will continue to strengthen ourselves over the time by adding new board members. And we never turn down a volunteer. So if anyone wants to volunteer for the board, you can. There's work to it. And I want to pick on Michael for just a second. Michael, can you come up here with me for just a second? He didn't know I was going to do this to him.
That kind of
Michael, look, I've done this to him the whole time that he's been involved with this. You can sit right here for just a second. Okay. Let's see if I can get you in here. Okay, let's see. There's Michael. Michael is a Texan, okay, and he's proud of his Texas roots, right?
Yes.
In a big way. And some years ago, he started participating with us and I had asked him to be involved with us more and he'd say, no, I don't have the time or the patience or whatever. But about 6 years ago, you decided
Yeah.
you couldn't keep saying no to me and he decided to
Well,
join.
he came to the Salado reunion in 2008, so.
That wasn't when I joined.
Yeah.
It was later than that.
I see.
Okay.
But that was a reunion I did go to.
Yeah,
And I would follow the newsletters and, you
right.
know, for forever.
So John was, working his career, trying to make a savings for his family. So finally, when he made more than he can put in the bank, he decided to start working with us some here. And John has played a big part in that. I mean, did I say John? I meant to say Michael. Michael's played a big part of helping us raise funds. And he has the ability to monetize just about anything, okay? And so it's pretty good. So he's the one who decided that we would no longer have a membership. So I don't know if you noticed, you don't have to pay $20 a year to participate in everything we have. You can just go online and see everything. So that was Michael's doing. And he played a big part of getting our book published because we found out just how expensive that doggone book was going to be, huh? Yeah, and he was a big contributor to that too. So I just wanted you to know that everyone plays a part. And Michael, how bad has it been since you joined our board?
Being a board member?
Yes,
Oh, it's not bad.
good. Do you hear that? And he just thought
I-
this would be just too hard, but it's good.
I don't have the time to give it that I probably should give it as a board member. But you kind of do what you can do, and it hadn't been bad. I've enjoyed being on board.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. I thought I'd just pick on you and say I appreciate what you've done.
Okay,
Okay, Michael, it's been great. So I had mentioned Larry's name earlier, but I didn't really put him on the spotlight. Larry, can you just come sit beside me for a second?
Sure.
Okay, again, Larry, you joined our board 20 years ago?
2008.
2008, okay? And Larry's just a no-nonsense, get-it-done type of guy. And Larry has been very supportive in helping bring the DNA technology into our organization. Is there anything you want to share with everybody about what it's like to be on the board? And if someone wanted to volunteer for something that's not a board position, what it might be like for them?
Whatever they want it to be.
And what's it been for you so far?
Very educational. Because I knew nothing about DNA when I first got involved with it. So I've managed to learn a few things and we've met a lot of people.
Okay.
So it's been rewarding.
And our relationship is what? We eighth cousins,
So,
okay? But we're as close as first cousins can be. So it's been a real joy getting to know
thank you.
Larry and his wife over the years and now we're going to get to meet his daughter. I've never met her, but I have met your granddaughter in the past and she's in Jordan right now. Of all places to be right now, okay? She's been watching rockets going over the top of her head.
Yep. Drones and rockets.
Yeah, crazy world.
Fortunately, that's come to a stop.
Yeah.
But this is Arab New Year today. So they stopped it a little early.
I see. Okay, well, good. So, and why is she there?
Why she's studying Arabic dialects. She's majoring in Arabic and intelligence.
Okay.
Just kind of a quick war story. My granddaughter did a virtual internship with US CENTCOM, which had a big role in the last week or so. Well, a couple of weeks ago, we were coming back from Mississippi to Florida because she was going to Jordan. And we decided we'd go by US CENTCOM and she could meet in person some of the people she'd worked with. And every one of them said, we're just too busy today. We're really sorry. And I thought, well, that's really rude. And because she had talked to them like a month earlier. And now we know why they weren't too busy.
Well, So you can see our little family organization might be small in a way, but we have a broad reach, okay? So Larry, we like what you've done for us over the years. We've sort of cleaned up the cobwebs
Well, I appreciate all the help I've gotten from everybody here.
and great.
Yep.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank
okay?
you.
So John, you're not getting off. I'm sorry. Is there something wrong? Oh, you had a welcome?
Put on there. Welcome by Gailen Vick, and so on,
Oh, great.
it's on there.
All right then. So John, can you just come up for just a second?
Yeah.
I know he doesn't like
Well.
recognition, but it's part of the deal being on the board, okay? So, John, you have all of our genealogy in your brain.
Well, better for worse, I suppose. Yeah, I've worked on this when I was a young man trying to figure out my own line, and the only way I could do that was to look at the whole family, trying to figure out where I fit into it. Complicated. Ended up being very complicated.
So there's been times when I'm introducing John to one of our new members of the organization, and he finds out who they are, and he starts spilling out their ancestry all the way back. Lisa, huh? You've seen this?
Yeah, when we looked at a painting in there, he's like, oh, that must be.
Well, that's John Wesley. So we got to tell people that's John Wesley.
But it's just, it's all in his brain, so I don't know how he can hang on to that stuff. As a marketing guy, I try to get rid of data, he keeps it all, so you're gonna blow up one of these days. Okay? But John, what needs to happen now for us to find our connection to our ancestors in Europe?
Well, because Joseph Vick's DNA, Y DNA is different from all the other Vicks, we think there must have been an illegitimacy very likely happening in his line, and we don't know who that father is. And it's likely that maybe he was the only son that that his mother, who was probably a Vick, probably a sister of these people. Who did she have an affair with that gave birth to Joseph? We don't know that answer. We have to find some other people that match us in that area and trace their family back to see if there was somebody in that same neighborhood. But that's going to be very hard to do. I mean, it's a needle in a haystack type of thing. But we really laid out the English Vicks pretty well from what the records are. And what I'm hoping for is in our organization, as we change name, is that we'll include these English cousins in our group, and we can really build and grow over the years in England and have them as part of us. And we'll just have to see what happens. So it's dependent on testing and luck. So.
Okay, well, I always don't go for luck. I like providence. I'll go for that.
Providence is
Okay, so I'm hoping the Heavenly Father will share some light on our mind. But there's been times when John's told me about being awake at night about some genealogy. And I think that that's the providence that our Heavenly Father gives us on these things. Well, we're really appreciative of what you've done, but I know that that Amy was a widower for a while when you were writing our book.
Well, we have a big table in one of our office, and she's on one side and I'm on the other, but I was engrossed in all of this because I had to get it put together. I mean, I have a lot of it in my head, but I also have a lot of work that we did on the previous book, which had a lot of material wrong in it, and I just plotted through it. You got me a draft of the earlier book, and I just worked through that draft, making corrections and changes, and talking to Larry, getting the DNA incorporated into it. And because Family Search had not put all of these records online for our counties in Virginia and for other places, I could go online through Family Search and find original documents and records and put those in citations. And that really was a big help. I mean, before I had to order microfilms from Salt Lake City, and it took weeks, and it was very difficult. Now I could do the research from home, looking at digitized records, and it just made the whole difference. I mean, the technology had changed to the point with the DNA and with Family Search that the project could be done the right way, which it couldn't be done in the 1990s or 2000s.
So today, when we talk about Larry as a DNA specialist, he has been training a new Larry And that's who? Tommy?
Tommy, like, yeah.
Right. Who are you training?
Nobody.
And we need that. We need that. John can't live forever. We need someone to be trained by John. And you heard his credentials. If any of you are thinking about a life as a genealogist, this would be like being a clerk at the Supreme Court. So you guys, if you know anyone out there who has an interest, we need that volunteer, I think.
Someone could someday do a volume 3 and take the lines. When I went through generation 7, we could pick up generation 7 and take it to more recent times. That's something that's not interesting to me. I'm interested in the older stuff. I'm not interested in tracing people in the 20th
Yeah.
century, but that
Yeah.
someone could do that. I mean, tracing
Okay.
your father, your grandfather, those lines and get those in to another book, but that'd be another big book. Could even be a couple of volumes worth of material and,
See what I said? He's into dead, I'm into living.
right, right.
Okay, but we're glad you're interested in that. So if anybody can think of anything they'd like to volunteer for, it's okay. It doesn't have to be a big assignment. Every little assignment helps. And it's not unsurmountable. You can do it, right? People can do it.
Sure,
Thank you so much.
all right, yeah.
John, it's good to have you here.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Now, let's see, there was somebody else, Jerry, are you still online?
Not showing.
I don't know how we get him here to show
It'd be showing, you've got the gallery.
gallery.
Yeah, you're already there, so he's not there.
I see. Well, we'll talk with him later then. So we'll talk with Shad. Are you still here? Oh, he's here. Shad, can you please come up? It's hard to get him to do everything I want. I'm his father. Okay?
He
Okay.
gets everything he wants.
For sure.
Yeah.
Sit right here
Yeah.
with my dad.
So we've just spent a month at Shad and Jennifer's home in Atlanta, Georgia, Fayetteville, Georgia. And he really has made a little oasis out there on 10 acres. But anyway, Shad is sort of our technologist. He works with Roger quite a bit, but he does things like he's donated to us every year, our database, our websites. And I didn't realize how much money that cost until I started probing around to see what it cost. And so I know that we've all donated our time and our monies at time, but every year he spends a lot of money on us. So thank you so much for doing that. Okay, but don't, getting off so easily. So you've been on the board twice. Why were you on the board and then not on the board?
Well, I
You
was
removed the,
on the board and then I was kicked off the board.
Yeah, well, who kicked you off the board?
The board,
you did.
the board. I wasn't showing up to my meetings, so they said, you're out of here.
You see?
They, was Gailen.
So anyway, so now we are using Zoom. So if you can't make it to a board meeting, you can, okay? And by the way, I'll be asking if Tommy's on here or not. Tom, our board member. So Roger, you might send him a note because I want to talk to him for a second. So how about your involvement? I mean, you're pretty busy with your career. This is your
No,
you're
it's
in your
been, it's
early
been good.
50s.
I enjoy participating on the board when I can. And what's been nice is I like to have a deadline and a thing to do. And I can jump in and knock something out when I can. And, I've tried to help make our brand a little more polished and so people take it seriously, not so we don't look so fly by night, So I've worked on our website brand a little bit and, helped John, with the book a little bit and,
What's the last project you worked on?
the other night asked me to whip these out, so I whipped
These
them out.
name
for you.
tags, okay?
Yeah.
So thanks. So that's Shad and his family, but you did another book project here
Oh,
recently.
yeah, the news, the white paper.
Yes, and that white paper's turned into a book.
Yeah, I just slapped some skin on it.
Yeah. So I had hoped to have that book here today, but publishing, it's hard, okay? And so Heritage I thought it was like 20 or 30, 40 pages when I went through it, and turned out to be 80 pages, John. Okay, you just can't say anything in a short way. Okay. And so we monetized that. It's now $20. People can download it online for free, but soon we're gonna have it, a hard copy version, if you want it through Heritage, okay? So that was a pretty neat project. And so that's, here, all the intellectual knowledge has to be packaged in such a way, and you were able to do that. So that's a great blessing. Thank you so much. I can't see. I got my glasses off.
Welcome back, Gailen Vick. And
Oh, Lisa, yes, thank you very much. Okay,
I want to hear from you.
thank you. So anyhow, is that, I'm missing one board member, Roger. I know he's monitoring something. While he's coming forth, Lisa, do you mind coming sitting over here beside me? Okay,
Galen, while she's coming up, somebody called Stella.
Stella's on the phone.
oh, is Stella there? Oh, wonderful, honey. Okay. My sweet wife is there. So,
Short.
you're fine, Lisa, here. So, Lisa, tell me why you took over what your dad was doing, why you didn't just say, sell that house and get out of here.
Well, just like you, we were proud of the restoration of the house. Daddy left the house and everything in it to me and my sister. And we just thought we would like to carry on his, maintain his legacy by keeping the house open to the public. And you call it your house, it is, and every Vic who comes through Vicksburg wants to tour this house, and we're happy to have them here. And we're thrilled that y'all are here today.
So what did you say to me earlier when the doorbell rang? You looked at me like, how come you're not answering the door? And I said, oh, I guess I'm the host. What did you say to me? You said something to me that I thought was very sweet. You said,
I said, why do you want me to answer the door? It's your event.
yes. And I looked at her and said, oh my gosh, she has given us this house this weekend.
Mhm.
Goodness gracious, isn't that very nice? But you said something to me. She goes, I'm so glad to be, I said something about being really glad to be here. And she goes, rightfully so.
That's right.
It was like, we were empowered to come here. She's saying, yes, this is your family's home. And so how sweet of you to feel that way. Okay,
Right.
right. So
You
Lisa,
called it the Welcome Center for the big family of America one time.
yes, it is that, huh? Yes. But she works 365 on this, keeping our profile out there. Her and her husband, David, who does all the stuff exterior to the house, I understand.
Right.
And you do the internal stuff.
Well, I do the tours. I have somebody to help with cleaning.
I see. Okay, good for you. So I just wanted to know, this is sort of special for us to have this Mecca, if you will, for us, okay? Very few of us here, I think, has a line through Reverend Newt Vick. I think we have two people here today.
Right.
This line is through Reverend Newt Vick. I can see their hands. Jim. And I thought this one lady right here was a descendant of Reverend Newt Vick.
Laura, he's talking about you.
I'm kin to, Hewitt Vick's wife, the Clark lady.
That's close enough.
Elizabeth Clark.
Yes.
So I'm kin to all the children of Hewitt Vick and everybody after that.
Very good
Right.
then.
I'm
Okay.
Laura Cook, and I am local, and Cook is my maiden name, and that is my, the Vicks and the Cooks settled at Openwood Plantation, which was called Openwood because the Indians maintained it as Open Woods. I was talking to your father about that one day at a genealogical meeting, but the fact is, the Indians played a ball game, and they kept land cleared for the ball game, and I'm thinking that's why they said they cane break, and we have these large oak trees here because of our full pipe, beautiful large oaks. So that was the prime land to start growing cotton because it was already cleared. But Foster Cook found it, and then the rest of Henry Cook was my ancestor, and Hewitt Vick followed and came on up here to that open woods area to settle. So, and I don't tell me if I'm saying too much. But Foster Cook, so was my uncle, but he was a engineer and he surveyed the land at Openwood, 4 lots for the Cooks and 4 lots for the Vicks out there. And then he also did surveying in the city of Vicksburg, laying it out.
Where are those lots in relation to where?
They're 8 miles east of Vicksburg, and there's an old road that, goes out there. It's the old part of Vicksburg, actually, they changed the name, I think, from Openwood Road, I can't remember.
Oak Ridge, is it Oak Ridge?
No, it's Open,
Okay.
I don't know, I'll have to look that up on my map, but, the, fact is, the old road's still out there. The reason they said that is because it was also flat as well as open. So, anyway, I don't know, I've gotten off my track here, we've got the lots, but they, yeah, they still have the name, that is Openwood Plantation Subdivision. And tons of people live out there now in beautiful homes. So the names of the streets are even Newick Vick Drive, and they have the old names of the streets out there. But it is Openwood Plantation Subdivision.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
And she's proud to be a cook. Good.
I'm kin to so many people in this county, it's
It's wonderful. Well, we're so thankful for you sharing this home with us again, okay?
We're so happy that you're here. And Jordan Rushing, who's on the line there,
Uh-huh.
is the director of the Old Courthouse Museum.
Wonderful. We're glad to have you
Where's
with us.
Jordan?
He's online.
Oh, okay.
And Aaron has, I talked with him a couple of days ago and he invited us down to the library, okay?
Mhm.
And so, but he will be Aaron, you're gonna be at some of our events the next couple of days?
He says, thank you for having me.
See if I can get
He
him.
goes by Jordan.
Okay, Jordan, are you going to be out to see us a little bit?
He says free admission at the Old Courthouse.
Okay,
Museum.
very good. Okay, great, wonderful. Well, thank you again. This is now I don't know if you've noticed.
And he said he will be here sometime this week.
Okay, great. We already have a schedule 6 years out from now, coming back here.
Okay.
That's our schedule every 6 years. And so 6 years from now, I'll be 82. I'll fall into the spectrum where Jim is, okay? And so between now and then, I, as the president, need to reorganize the board and get a new president. This is very important because I'm forgetting things and I need to spend more time with my wife. So, but I promise you that we'll be here 6 years from now and that the players here will be so endowed with the love of the Martha Vick House. Thank you
Great.
so much.
We look forward to your next visit here.
Very good. Thank you. So let's see now, I think Roger's here somewhere. If he could come up and be with me, he doesn't like the camera at all. Come on up, Roger. Of all the family members that I have around here, Roger McGrew is my third cousin. And what do we have in common that we did as third graders?
At the same school.
We didn't know that. We had no idea that we were related back then, but we had our eyes on the same girl, didn't we? That little brunette.
Could be.
Could be. He's not gonna mention it because she's still alive and she lives up in Salem, okay? I mean, in Kentucky. Anyway, Roger is our treasurer. And I don't know what the word for it is, but you know, when you get a turbine running and you start making electrical energy, it just continues to make energy. Well, that's Roger. He just sort of takes hold of things and just starts doing it. So he's now our treasurer. And boy, every penny is accounted for. He'll be making a report tomorrow, and you're welcome to see that report. And he's always all over my case for spending too much money and what are we going to do for more money? And I go, well, it'll work out. And And I always remind him that John donated the book to the family, so we're making money from that, but we'll figure out other ways to make money along the way to keep us going. So tell me about your time and effort that you spend in as a board member.
Trying to keep you on schedule.
Okay, all right, yes. But now you're on the historical society of your local county?
Yeah.
What's the name of that?
Livingston County Historical Society.
I see, okay. And you've created a website for them and,
We do. We interview people, longtime residents and get a video record of their stories.
just interesting stories if you ever get a chance there. What is that website?
lchgs.org,
So it's Livingston County
Historical
Historical.
and Genealogical Society.org, lchgs.org.
Okay, so he lives on the bayou up there, right? Is that how they pronounce it?
Bio.
Bayou, and just down the same area where Jefferson Davis's sister lived.
That's true.
Okay. Well, tell people about what it's like to participate as a volunteer. Is it eat up too much of your time or is,
No,
what's
it's
it
good.
like?
It's good. It's good.
Okay, and what would you say to someone who's thinking about volunteering?
Sign up.
Roger, you did good. Thank you so much. Okay, we sure appreciate you. Okay. So there was another board member that was online, but he's just had an operation. He's really in pain, and that's Jerry Thomas Vick, and his wife Ann were on earlier. Okay. You'll see him tomorrow. He's our chaplain. He'll be giving a prayer tomorrow. Old Richard Wright is not here again. He is seriously ill. Is Tom with us today?
He's not near gallery.
No, okay. I think he's working. He works for the FAA organization, and as you know, they're scrambling to try and keep planes in the air and landing safely. So he has a pretty busy time. Did I miss any other board members? Is that everybody? I hope that's everyone, okay? So now we're going to go to what we call a silent auction where you can walk around some tables. And if there's a book that you would like to have or something you'd like to have, we have books. We have, is Michael still here? Michael Vick? No?
Yeah, phone call.
Oh, he did. Michael Vick has also bought some tickets for a trolley that drives around and shows the memorial, the Civil War memorial. And so you can bid on that. There's one of the old books that we have available here and two of the new books that's available. And I don't know if you've noticed, but we've reduced the price on those books from 500 on the big book down to 250. Craig with Heritage Book has told me we've already sold some books at that price. But we have some of those books here if you want to bid on them. If you want to bid more than 250, we'll take that. Okay. So those are some of the things. I don't know if there's anything else that's available.
DNA kit.
Larry has donated a DNA kit. Okay, excellent. So if by chance you're not here and you'd like us to bid on something, call one of us and we'll bid for you. Okay, so that you can do that. So I've listed all the books that Jim Perrin brought with him. They're on our website. So if there's a book there you're interested in, I did not make note that one of the books is signed by the author. Is that right, Jim? What book is that?
Maybe new book cotton.
Okay, that's signed by the author. So, let's see. And then the rest of the schedule you can see online. But today at 11 o'clock, I think we're having John speaking. And then a little bit later is Michael, I believe. And then tonight at 6 o'clock, we're having hors d'oeuvres, but Lisa says don't go out to dinner. It's enough to eat.
There'll be plenty of food.
Okay, so don't go and waste any money when it's right here, okay? And then tomorrow we have some board members and elections and there's nothing wrong with volunteering to serve on any committee. Right now, the person who's in charge of events is having a baby right now, okay? Mary Kate. I don't know if she's had her baby yet or not. I'll announce it after this meeting, but she went in last night at 1:30 to be induced. And so we should have a baby here pretty soon. Her first little baby with that little family. And then we'll have another talk by John tomorrow. And then one by Larry tomorrow. And then we have a second reception tomorrow at the George Washington Ball House here in town that Lisa's sister has been restoring. But she doesn't like to open it up to the public as much as Lisa does, but she's been nice enough to open it up to us. And I think tonight and even tomorrow, we'll have the mayor coming over and we hope the press will be here. So a little public relations tomorrow. Very good. So tomorrow night, the same thing. Don't go waste any money on food. It'll be there. So please enjoy your time there. Having said that, then is there anything else that I should have highlighted, or is there something that somebody made note of that I should be aware of? Okay, now I can do this because I'm the president. Sometimes you can just do this type of stuff. And so, hey, Lucas, come up for just a second. Come on up, Lucas. Lucas is one of my grandsons. He ran registration last year. Do you remember who you ran it with? His last name was Shaw. He was Ted Shaw's boy. Okay. Anyway, I thought what was neat about that was one of his cousins, an African-American cousin, and him was sitting there at the table. And I thought of none other than Martin Luther King, okay, Abraham Lincoln, hoping that type of thing would happen in the future. And it did last year. Anyhow, thank you so much for doing that for us last year. Okay. So he's going to be turning 16 this coming year. And of course, when that happens, I don't know how, but girls just start appearing out of the woodwork. I don't know how that works. Thanks for being here, Lucas. Okay. He had a pool party and the ladies just started appearing the other night. Okay, now I introduced Sophia to you earlier, but I didn't introduce you to Juliana. There she is. Juliana, can you come up? One of my beautiful granddaughters. She's traveled with us from the set right here. So she's helped on registration today and so she just turned 12 this past week, or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyhow, we're so glad to have you here. We love you so much. Thanks for coming. And I know this is probably a boring thing for you, but we thought we'd put you on the spot here. So you can do that to your grandchildren someday. Thank you so much, honey. Okay. And then it wouldn't be right if I didn't say something about my daughter-in-law being here. Jennifer, you want to come up for just a second? So whoever gets to be the president in the future, you can do this type of stuff. When the camera's rolling, you can just do this type of stuff. So this is the mother of 8 children. Okay.
Wow.
And so how many children do you have left at home now?
Soon to be only 3. Yeah.
And so where are the rest of your children?
So our oldest 4 have been studying at BYU, Idaho. 1 is married, 1 is engaged and has graduated, 1 is about to graduate. And then we have our 5th child that will be joining them this fall. So kind of exciting. She just wants to be where her siblings are. So
That's great. So so there's all these kids going to college in your family. What has that been like for you guys financially?
You know, it's been okay because they've learned to do their part.
So they work while they're at school?
Yes, they work while they're at school.
I heard,
If they get good grades, they get you know, they have scholarships available and as long as they keep their grades up, it's been really good for them, so.
I talked with one of my grandsons who graduated from that school recently. He said he had graduated with money in the bank. So this stuff about not being able to afford to go to college, you don't have to pick any expensive college. You can get good bachelor's degrees because it's the masters and the PhDs, advanced studies. It's, you know, if you want to do that. So I'm hoping America will sort of change its mindset. Anybody in America can go to college. And if you don't know how to work, just join the service. They'll teach you how to work and you can get free education. Thank you so much for coming, honey. I love you. Okay. So that's some of my family who's here with me. And so we encourage you all to bring your family. And I know that Larry has brought his wife, his daughter and his granddaughter, like say, is over in Jordan. It'd be nice for her to dial in while we're here. Wouldn't that be fun on Zoom? Anybody else want to say anything before we conclude to the silent auction? No? Okay, then we're gonna just turn things off for a little bit and then we'll come back at 11 o'clock. Thank you all.